go on your side. It's very temperamental. I think the wire is going here. You know what I'm gonna do?
I don't need it. I mean,
No, you're fine. Here, I'm gonna do this.
oh, you can tape it?
Yeah.
Wow.
So can you actually just hold your finger there while we get tape?
Yes.
Oh, that's very good. Yeah, just hold that. How's Brian?
Good.
Hugh Hefner. You look like Hugh Hefner the other night. That was so fucking funny. I loved it so much. Just fucking lounging in his bathrobe. That's good.
He was like, oh, he's just like making sure his cock's not out. Hi, Rich.
So good. It's so funny.
He's good. He's going back to work on Monday.
Oh wow.
So he's getting pumped up for that. He keeps saying it. He's like, yeah, I'm going back to work Monday. I'm like, yeah, man.
Awesome.
He's gonna have all his disinfectant stuff with him.
So
45 deck lists.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
Oh, cool. Got some. Lane the Main came through.
Did he?
Yeah. And so did Dark.
MTG Dark Knight Gaming?
Yeah.
Yeah. That dude is fucking weird. He's a fucking weirdo.
Oh no.
I'm saying that now just so into the future,
Yeah.
when you interact with him, you know he's kind of a weirdo.
Okay.
Like, he's married and has 3 kids. He's like 20 something years old, and like, he was in the military.
Okay.
But
Super Christian guy?
no, he's like slow.
Okay.
He's like, doesn't spell correctly,
Mhm.
like, latches onto people and like tries to get their attention over and over and over again, like on Twitter and like Twitch and stuff.
Okay.
So he's like one of those kind of people, but then he's like, I'm married and have 3 kids and I've been in the military. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You know, you think somebody who's in that, like,
More mature.
yeah, but I'm not judging him because he's like super nice, he's like super supportive,
Yeah.
but he's also just kind of a weirdo. Like, if you don't, this is why, if you don't give him attention,
Mm-hmm.
he like makes a mention of it. Like, he's like, oh, like he posted something on Twitter. Somebody posted something on Twitter yesterday, and they didn't tag him in it. It was like a Follow Friday thing from one of our friends, and they didn't tag him in it. And then he replied to it, oh, I didn't get tagged this week. So, like that kind of person. So I always make, you know, he's fine. We're here for a good time, but he's kind of like one of those.
Okay. Good to know.
Just so you know. All right. Question. I got 2 boosters with my pre-release kit. Should I include them in my pool? Or was this just my LGS bonus? Can you hear yourself?
Alright, it's back. It was coming in and out. Now it's back.
Text message.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I can make a question out of that. Oh, the stumper. Oh boy. We'll need to look look up one of these cards. If I have an Oko.
Okay, you still here? Is your headphones working?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
Now I lost it.
You know what? Fuck. Oh, it's because my shit hit it. Damn it.
Okay, it's back.
Is it back?
Yes.
Is it still there?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let me put the Twitch thing here. Twitch dashboard. Stream manager. Oh, I gotta set up the recording on the. Yes.
Okay. Wow, that might be a tough one. We'll see what if you can do it. We'll see if you're up to it.
I'm always up to it. All right, and
Set up
then
on bookmarks. Oh yeah, this is gonna be fun. Lion City Noodles. Always gonna have that bookmarked. I gotta buy you some pickles. Oops.
all right, so that's that. So we'll minimize this. Go like this. Push this over here. Put this over here.
Okay.
All right, are you? All right, I'll give the 10-minute Oh, I gotta close the window and stuff too. It might get warm in here, just so you know.
I might have to take off a layer. Is it hot in here or is it me?
It's just you. Hi, George.
Any word from Trinity about future?
They're opening the outside. They're opening like the outside seating, and she sent out a group text. She sent out a group text if people want to come back one day a week, and I'm not gonna yet.
Not yet.
No,
Okay.
I don't want to put myself in, especially like with like the fucking. I guarantee it's gonna be a fucking circus. Like seating on the fucking sidewalk and in the street and stuff. Everybody's gonna be 8 feet apart. I'm like, I'll let you guys figure it out for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And then I'll see how it goes. And then, but for one day a week, with the unemployment that we're getting and all that stuff, I'm just like, let me just write it out because it's safer, right?
Anyway.
And that's what I said. What my response was very brief. I said, listen, maybe in a few weeks after you sort everything out, but I'm not really game to be part of the experiment. And that's what I said, because it really feels like nobody really knows that like what's going to happen.
Right.
And I don't want to be part of the fucking irresponsible people who start going out to dinner and fucking getting their germs on everything, you know, and then one slip up, people get sick again, you know. So it's like that shit in the movie. It's like 28 weeks later. You know, have you ever seen 28 weeks later, like 28 days later, the zombie movie?
I have, where the guy wakes up in the hospital,
Yeah.
there's nobody there.
Yeah, that's 28 days later.
Okay.
And then they like, at the end, they kind of like,
Oh, it goes backwards from
it does 28 days and then 28 weeks. So 28 days later is from like the outbreak, and then 28 days from this outbreak, right?
yeah.
And then 28 weeks later is a sequel, and it's 28 weeks later from the end of the last movie. So like people are starting to like integrate back into society and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And then of course it happens again.
Oh.
And that's exactly what like I feel like is going to happen here. Is that like people start getting like too lax,
Yeah.
and then one person fucked up, and then the whole thing goes again. So
I just heard this really sad thing on This American Life where there's all these doctors that have been trained specifically for this kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
that want to go to the like New York and where there's big problems, and they're stuck in these rural areas where there's nothing going on because their visa only allows them to work for one place and it won't allow them to go anywhere else, even to volunteer.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and they're super bummed
Yeah.
because there's all these people that came to America and in these really limited kind of visas, and they're not making any exception for them. That's bullshit. They should make an exception.
They should make an exception.
Yeah, he wants to go out there.
Yeah.
And all his friends are emailing him like, we're calling in people from different, what's it called, disciplines, to come in and work the ICU. And we're like, imagine that. Yeah, like, I'm the librarian.
I could read you things. Turn that off. All right. So you're good with the hearing, right? You can hear.
Yes.
You can hear. Still hear.
I can still hear.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
And I can hear you.
Yeah. Can you?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. I think our levels are good then. How are you with prep? Do you need more time?
Not really.
Okay.
Let me just.
No rush.
No, I remember. I watched the video. Trust me, from episode 42, and you are just sitting there and you're just waiting so patiently. I'm like, I cannot do this to Rich anymore. I have to have my shit together.
It's okay.
It's not when you're playing Magic and I'm doing it. That way I don't feel as bad.
Right. It's not like we're getting paid for it, so we're not. Either of us aren't getting.
Hey! This is fucking show.
Serious shit.
We got a new review. We didn't shout that person out. Can you take a screenshot of it so that we can? You have the screenshot that I sent you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can read it because I don't have access to it right now.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, I know what I want to do. I want to sign on to the Twitch so I can, if anyone's on the Twitch.
Yeah.
Twitch.com/.
Twitch.tv.
Twitch.tv.
Slash. Good, we're gonna find it.
Oh, that's it?
Yep. It's like yours, but with cast at the end. Alright.
That's easy.
I'm gonna start streaming. Is that cool if I
Yeah.
start?
Start
And
streaming.
start streaming. Yes. And then start recording. Here. Alright.
Oh, they're sending a fucking verification code.
You should
Oh,
need a
they also-
verification code.
They also sent it to my email. So I can check
So
it.
you're watching.
I'm watching, but
Yeah,
I'm.
because you can hear it. So that means it's on somewhere.
But I'm not signed in, so I can't comment
Oh, okay.
unless it's signed in.
Gotcha.
So I'm gonna sign out
Gotcha,
of this
gotcha.
and sign into the other thing. Boom. Alright, I'm in.
Hello, middle-aged people. What's up, Ron?
I'm 28.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm 21.
But straight edge, so.
Dude,
Dude, I can't remember the fucking password. Oh, I got it. I'm in.
Alright,
Alright.
you're in? You're in?
You're in. Alright. Ooh, yeah.
Alright. Can you get your...
Check.
You can move that closer to you if you want. Just so you don't have to lean forward.
Check.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I like the warm, loud.
Yeah, it's
It's
good.
good.
Yeah,
It's good.
Good.
It's good.
It's real good.
It's good. Hey, oh, the cats. Oh, I love you. Oh, my friend. You have a bench. You're my sidekick. It's
It's
good.
good. It's good.
It's good.
Okay. I'm gonna make the stream live and then. Excuse me, just gotta get that out of there. Here we go.
Uh-oh, I can't find my cheat sheet. I'm gonna have to wing it. I've only said it 45 times. Maybe I put episode 55 on this. It's episode 45. Okay, ready?
Hi.
Hi, Ron. Did you tweet about it?
Yeah.
Where's the crowd? No, Milliken. You have a black dust from the thing.
Black dust from the from
the
my
from the
headphones.
headphone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just one.
Where is it? You can't touch.
Ah! It's down to your right, up. You're touching it.
Got it.
You got
Okay,
it.
got it.
Thank you.
All right. Teamwork.
Should I start? Welcome to episode 45 of Mythic Legendaries, podcast about Magic the Gathering and Hearthstone, brought to you by two old friends who love podcasts and the games we play. My name is Mox Sapphire.
My name is Rich G.
Hello, Rich G.
Hi.
May 16th, 3:40 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Mythic Legendaries, the world's first and only hybrid Magic the Gathering and Hearthstone podcast.
That's right.
Thank you so much
We are
for doing this with me.
pioneers. We are pioneers in the podcast game. You know, we like a podcast called Oh Yeah Dude.
Yes.
They are one of the oldest running podcasts
Yeah.
in creation, for real.
Big
They've been around
inspiration.
since 2006.
I listened to hundreds of episodes.
It's hundreds. They have 748 episodes.
Wow.
So we have 45 episodes. We have a long way to go, but we are the pioneers of the combination game podcast.
Right.
As far as
Someone just subscribe?
yeah, no, that's a cheer for Berserker.
Berserker.
Thank you. So we are. I feel like we're pioneers in this combination podcast game.
We are.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. If you're listening, we're also streaming live on Twitch. Thanks to everyone who is watching the show live on Twitch.
Yes, thank you.
So it comes out a little bit before the podcast comes out in the audio version.
Mhm.
So that's a little bit of a bonus.
Yep.
And we really appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for being here. We are listener supported, and you can show your support by just telling us you listen,
Mm-hmm.
by joining the Discord and leaving reviews and stuff like that. We really appreciate it. So, on this side of the table, we talk about Hearthstone.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot going on this week. We have balance changes that are coming next week on Monday,
Awesome. Like 2 days from now.
2 days from now.
Cool.
Yes. And I have trivia for you
Awesome.
from friends of the show that sent me some trivia questions for you.
Cool.
And I also have some off-topic stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, I want to share a really important resource with everybody, a community resource available throughout the world.
Okay.
And you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it.
Great.
I'm excited.
Me too.
Episode 45.
45. This week for Magic, we're gonna talk about how to combat the tier 1 metagame that is getting so very strong and, like we talked about last week, a little bit unfavorable. So we're going to talk about how to combat that and still have fun while doing it. So I have 2 decks that I've been playing, that I've been having fun with, and they also put up a little bit of a fight versus those decks. So I'm going to do basically a deck tech with both of those and give you reasons and resources as to why to choose those 2 decks if you want to play around with the big guys, but still do something a little bit unique and fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hearthstone, we are going to get a balance change on Monday,
Okay.
2 days from now. This announcement was made yesterday on Friday, May 15th. This is the 3rd balance change of Ashes of Outland.
Wow.
3rd balance
You
change.
came out, what, like 2 weeks ago?
It felt like it came out like 4 shows ago. It's been around for like over a month now. This will be the second. It came out last month, and we're getting through like the first whole month with the new expansion. You're gonna be so jealous
Because of all the fixes they can do?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Team 5 is being praised heavily for their interventions and to keep the meta fresh and keep things fun, which I know MTGA is struggling with right now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you guys.
Hey, you know what? It's part of the game.
I have an elegant solution for this for you guys. It's sleeves. Yes, they're gonna change the cards in MTGA first, and if Twitch, just let me know what you think, because trust, this would work. They sell the sleeves, 60 card sleeves, right? So they sell limited edition sleeves from Wizards of the Coast. They'd be really high quality, and on the certain sleeves would be the balance change. They could do it at least once in expansion. Midway.
Sure.
And on the sleeve would be, you'd put the old card in there, and then over it would be the new modifications.
Right.
They'd be limited edition, they'd be beautiful, and they would make everyone happier,
Well, yeah, it's true.
and they'd
And
be
then
very collectible.
That means they would make millions of dollars just on sleeves, because anybody wanting to play those cards would have to buy a box of sleeves, because you can't just sleeve one and have an unsleeved deck. And you can't have a sleeve deck and not just one, so they'd have to buy a whole set of sleeves.
They have to buy the whole set of sleeves.
It's a great business idea.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. It's your $1 million idea.
Patent that. Anyone, what do you guys think? Anybody comment on that? I wouldn't pay for an errant sleeve, but it's a good idea. Thank you. Okay, so I want to go through the cards. We're getting there's 12 cards that are being altered. 3 shaman cards, 1 paladin card is getting buffed.
Wait, did you say 12 cards are getting changed?
12 cards.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
So the design team designed these cards.
Yeah.
They put them out.
It's getting hot.
It's hot in here. I know the weather just changed so instantly the last week, and my apartment has these giant windows. And if anybody's watched me stream during the day, it's sun just like directly in my face, and that's how it is all day. And my house is all brick, so it's like almost like a greenhouse. Like it's insulated. So like right now it's just super hot, but I don't want to turn the AC on because the noise from the AC.
Yeah, no, you don't want to do that.
Anyway,
I'd rather sweat a little bit. When you have 100 feet ceilings,
yeah, I mean there's
some trade-offs.
Cathedral ceiling. So let me just get this straight. A team of people designed cards,
Tested them.
released them. The first week they had to change them.
Yes.
The second week they had to change them. Then the 4th week they had to change them, and they're changing 12 things this time.
Yes.
That's insane. Awesome.
The goal is to make every
It's a witch's oven in here,
every class.
and I'm a cauldron familiar. Sorry, go ahead.
Hey, that's a Hearthstone card.
What?
Isn't it? Cauldron Familiar?
It's a magic card.
I know that card. They want to make every class viable.
Mm-hmm.
That's the goal.
Okay.
It's never gonna happen
Okay.
because someone always is gonna break
Right,
the meta.
right.
But it's a very strong effort.
I already have to stand up.
Stand up. It's hard to know if they are they really is this planned obsolescence, or is this just really just reacting to
Mhm.
play? Yeah, I think it's maybe in the beginning they know that some things are going to be okay. This is just, and then they're like, we're going to do a balance change, so some things are going to be broken. We
Mhm.
want our new class with Demon Hunter to be super strong.
Right.
We want everyone to try it.
Right.
It's going to be broken. It's
Mhm.
fine.
Mhm.
We'll fix it. But then they really listen to the community to hear what everyone's saying,
Okay.
especially on Reddit, which I'm not on Reddit.
Mhm.
We have a Reddit, but I'm not on it.
Right.
They try to make everyone happy,
Mm-hmm.
and they are reacting to the meta, which is kind of stale right now, and
Well,
some
that's good.
things are
That's
okay.
good. They keep the game playable,
Yeah.
and they listen to their players' suggestions.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
3 Shaman cards, 1 Paladin card is getting buffed, and nerfs are coming to Demon Hunter, Rogue, Warlock, and Warrior. So let's go through the cards.
Let's do it.
First card is going to be the Paladin card that's getting buffed, Alder Attendant. Alright, just let me make sure I have all my things here. Okay, so Alder Attendant is a 2/3 for 2 common minion. Battlecry is reduce the cost of Librams by 1 this game. Okay. They're changing it to become a 1/3 for 1.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So they're gonna that's a buff.
They're changing the casting cost.
They're changing the casting costs.
Wow.
The battle cry is really important thing here
Mhm.
because the Librams are a spell that buffs your card, and then it gives it a death rattle, so that when that card dies, you get more of those spells in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
And it was supposed to be an archetype, but it hasn't seen any play.
Okay.
So they're buffing it to hopefully so people that love Paladin will be able to enjoy it. So we'll see what happens with that. Moving on, we have the Shaman cards.
Mhm.
Okay, so we have Torrent, Shattered Rumbler, and the Lurker Below. So
I like the name of that. The Lurker Below. That's like Other Cat when she's being a weirdo. She's the Lurker Below.
Torrent is a card that I have not seen at all,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been playing a lot, and I haven't seen this card. So
How's it work out?
Torrent is a 5-cost rare shaman spell
Mm-hmm.
that reads deal 8 damage to a minion. It costs 3 less if you cast a spell this turn.
Okay.
So the old cost was 5, the new cost is going to be 4. So make it a little cheaper.
And it's a buff.
That's a buff.
Okay.
Yeah. And the next shaman card is Shattered Rumbler. Shattered Rumbler is a 4/6 for 5 epic elemental minion, shaman minion. It reads Battle Cry, if you cast a spell last turn, deal 2 damage to all other minions.
Mhm.
Now it's going to be a 5 attack, 6 health. So it's going to be a 5/6. That's what they're changing. So it was a 4/6 for 5. They're changing it to a 5/6 for 5. So they buffed it a little bit.
Nice.
It's gonna be more worth it to play it. They're trying to like make Galakrond Shaman spell Shaman, Galakrond spell Shaman
Mm-hmm.
viable, which is exciting. Shaman was awesome during the Evolve Shaman days. It was a lot of fun, and still not going to be as good as Evolve, but maybe it'll be a thing. People are saying probably not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you what I'm going to play on Monday.
I imagine, let me just interject real quick. Does the concept of buffing and nerfing cards from a new set have anything to do with their playability and interaction with cards from old sets? Because you just said Galakron was from the older set. That was
But it's
the
still in
previous.
standard.
It's still standard. So do because you said they want to make Galakron whatever viable.
Yeah.
Would they like tinker with cards here so older cards work better together? Because that's kind of like what I gathered from what you just said. Because they don't want a mechanic that they designed in an old set to kind of like just go away because of new cards. So I imagine with that being able to just be like, oh, let's tweak some knobs so they work better together.
Yes.
That's cool.
To make
That's
it,
cool.
it's more about getting the like Demon Hunter, like nerfing Demon Hunter,
Mm-hmm.
so that other classes and other archetypes can have a chance in the meta. So
Okay.
that's
Biohazard Dubstep wants to know if Hearthstone accounts have monetary value. Like, are things worth money in the real world, or is
no,
it just kind
it's
of
a
like
closed sandbox
okay?
for the money. What do they call that? The revenue, for that system,
Mhm.
the money system. You buy everything is the same. So a legendary minion costs 1,600 dust, and an epic minion costs 400 dust,
And dust. So just to clarify, dust is taking cards, right,
Mhm.
and crushing them up pretty much.
yeah.
Like-
So
like
now
you-
they made it even better.
Okay.
So now, well, to answer your question first, you can't trade cards.
So what about in real life? Like, would somebody be like, I want to buy your account because you have
Oh.
like all the cards in it?
That is probably against the user agreement,
Mm-hmm.
but is done.
Okay.
I've seen it
Okay.
on.
So there are some
eBay.
accounts that have like, yeah, okay. So you can sell an account because you have like, if you've been playing since the beginning, right, and then have everything and have like limited
Right, right.
sleeves and whatnot.
Like kind of like a World of Warcraft account.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Gotcha.
So they don't have a market value outside of the game,
Right.
like paper magic,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe online. Because you can,
Like-
they have a system in the Magic Online, right?
Right. Magic Online, there's like value to those digital cards.
Yeah.
Arena, there is no value money wise, and then obviously paper. So they all kind of fluctuate there.
So this doesn't
But
have
like-
that,
But like, sorry, so putting into Magic terms, like I have a card worth $10 in real life, but in Hearthstone, you don't have a card worth $10. You might have an account worth $100 because of what's in it,
yeah,
but like there's no like market for single cards, right? Or
correct,
right, because you can't trade them.
correct.
Gotcha.
What sucks is how the meta's constantly changing,
Mhm.
and so you crafted all these cards, and now they're not worth as much anymore. So to make up for that, and now you can't afford to craft any other ones because you already invested in those. So they make full dust value available.
Mhm.
So you can dust those cards for the full value, where normally you lose value when you dust your
Right.
card.
Right.
So that's how
That's cool.
they get you.
Cool.
So yeah, so the dust value for these cards that are getting nerfed is going to be available until June 1st,
Cool.
which is really cool.
Yeah.
The last Shaman card is the Lurker Below. Is a 6/3 for 6 legendary beast minion.
Okay.
Shaman for Shaman.
All right.
It reads Battle Cry, deal 3 damage to an enemy minion. If it dies, repeat on one of its neighbors. Well, it seems kind of, the health is really low, you know? So I don't even know what they did to it yet. My guess is they made the health more.
Yeah.
Let me see. The Lurker Below, old 6/3 health, new 6 attack, 5 health.
Nailed it.
Hearthstone, what's up? Play Hearthstone, hire me. I got this. So it's a 6/5.
Hire me.
It's a 6/5 now. That's huge. A 6'5" for 6 now?
Yeah.
It was a 6'3". That's a big buff.
6'5". I think that's how tall Biohazard Dubstep is.
Are you fucking
6'5",
kidding me?
I think. Are you 6'5"?
No, I'm 6'3".
Okay.
6'2" and 3/4. I'm an Amazon. It's okay though, I love myself.
No, 6'4". Okay, and a half. All right.
Just 6'4" and a half?
Yes.
Holy shit, man. If you need a date for like a wedding, like we'd be a good match. Because you're taller than me, I'm shorter, it'd be perfect. If I need a date for a wedding, I have to go with my husband. That's okay, I love my husband. Okay, the lurker below. Yeah, hey, Shaman, on the rise. We can hope, but I doubt it, because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Alright, moving on. And we're going to have to, I feel like this is going to take a long time.
Yeah, probably going to take a long time.
Okay. How can I summarize this?
How about you read all the cards that are going to be buffed, and then hit on the ones that matter most to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll just read through the rest, and then we'll go back like Rich suggested. That's a great idea. So we have the Demon Hunter cards that are getting nerfed. Priestess of Fury is a 6/7 for 7 rare demon minion, and it's going to become a 6 attack, 5 health. So that got nerfed. Crimson Sigil Runner is a 2/1 for 1 common Demon Hunter minion. So it's old, it was a 2 attack, 1 health. Now it's going to be a 1 attack, 1 health. That's pretty big. So that's the second nerf for Demon Hunter. And fuck Demon Hunter. Just sick of Demon Hunter. The next one is a Hunter card, which is Scavenger's Ingenuity. Is a 2-cost Hunter spell, and it is going to. So the old thing is that the spell read draw a beast, give it +3/+3, which was broken, and everyone was playing these boars that had charge and making them into 4/4s. And the new one is draw a beast, give it +2/+2. So
Okay.
they nerfed it.
Okay.
Which is well deserved nerf. Rogue is Shadow Jeweler Hanar, is a 1/5 for 2 legendary rogue minion, and this card sucks so bad. I hate playing against it. If you don't kill it right away, you're in trouble, because I think it reads if you have a secret in play. I have to read it. Let me read that one, because that's a really important one.
Sure.
Shadow Jeweler.
You've been assigned to Dab, by the way.
No!
Yeah, so we'll get that in at the end of the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah. People feel free to use your channel points, and we'll do the end.
Do whatever you
Do
want.
the end of, yeah, basically we'll do whatever you want, but at the end of the show, off podcast. So.
It's a 1/5 for 2 legendary rogue minion that's being played right now in Secret. Galakrond Rogue. It's one of the top tier decks. After you play a secret, discover a secret from a different class.
Okay.
Which is so hard
Yeah.
to play against when they have access to all
Other
the random
classes, yeah.
secrets from any class. Is crazy.
That's wild. That is so wild. Every time you mention that you can just get a card from wherever, and just because I always associate it with Magic stuff.
The
just
random.
being, yeah. It's just random, and it's just anything.
That's what makes Hearthstone unique.
Yeah.
Is the randomness, because it doesn't have to exist in real life. So it was a 1 attack, 5 health. Now it's a 1 attack, 4 health.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Hearthstone Team 5. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Yeah, Team 5. Go Team 5.
Next rogue minion is Blackjack Stunner. It's a 1/2 for 1 rare rogue minion. The old battle cry was if you control a secret, return a minion to its owner's hand. It costs 2 more. The new battle cry is if you control a secret, return a minion to its owner's hand. It costs 1 more.
Okay.
So it's a good removal. It's a good removal minion
Mhm.
with the battle cry. So if you have a secret in play, it's very tempo-y, which I love. Rogue does some really cool tempo stuff.
Yep.
So you have a
Tempo Rogue.
Yeah, you have a secret in play. You play this minion. Battle cry is send a minion back to its owner's hand, and then it's going to cost 1 more instead of 2 more
Oh,
because they thought
okay.
that was OP. So that was
Yeah,
got nerfed.
that sounds pretty overpowered. Yeah.
So we got 3 more. A Warlock minion and 2 Warrior minions. The Warlock minion is Imprisoned Scrap Imp. There's a 3/3 for 2 rare demon minion. The old, it read that it was dormant for 2 turns. When this awakens, give all minions in your hand +2/+2, which is extremely powerful. The new is it's dormant for 2 turns. When this awakens, give all minions in your hand +2/+1.
Mm-hmm.
So,
All right.
cool, thank you. Yeah, I didn't like playing against that either. Blood Boil Brute. It is a 6/8 for 7 rare warrior minion. The old was it was a 6 attack, 8 health. The new is it's a 5 attack, 8 health. So
Okay.
that got nerfed a little bit. It also has rush.
It got smurfed.
It's got rush and it costs less for every damaged minion. So
That works well with something that you mentioned earlier. That does 1, 2 every.
yeah, it's a pirate.
Mhm.
It's a pirate, and it's way back when it first came out. You said it synergized well with lots of things,
Yep.
and you were right. That turned into the #1 deck.
Did it really?
Yeah,
That's funny.
not the list we came up
Right,
with.
right. But a
But-
variant on those cards.
Yeah,
That's cool.
totally cool.
Sometimes I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, right away you were like, "Oh, that's very powerful," and I was like,
maybe I should play Hearthstone.
"Yeah, if you played Hearthstone, you'd be like rank 1 legend." Okay, so they nerfed it, huh? I guess so, because people say that it's the #1 deck, although I can't win with it, but alright, I guess it's good for somebody. Bloodsworn Mercenary is an awesome card. It's a 3/3 for 3 epic minion that makes a copy of a damaged minion.
Okay.
So it comes out, so you have it itself, so it was a 3/3.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also get a copy of the damaged minion.
Mm-hmm.
And then now it's going to go to 2 attack, 2 health. So they made that a little less. That was really powerful, which I actually posted last night or the day before, like a picture of what happened.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so they made it. That's good. That's just a very, very subtle tweak there. So all that being said, all this effort to make Shaman better and viable and to nerf Demon Hunter and do all these fun little tweaks. #1 deck Monday is gonna be Galakrond Priest. Fucking Galakrond Priest that didn't get touched. The one that didn't even get touched, where you're just gonna fatigue your opponent and bring your shit back and just clear the board when your opponent has finally built their board. And the games are gonna go on forever, and
So it's like a control deck.
it's totally a control deck. It takes forever,
Yeah.
and it's so frustrating to play against. And it's gonna be the #1 deck, and that's what I'm playing
Awesome.
because I already have all the cards.
Smash it.
Smash it, playing that, and then we'll see what pans out.
Okay.
Before I get involved in Shaman,
Yeah.
not. I might have the cards already. I
How
don't even
often do
know.
you like go between classes? Like all the time?
Oh man, it's been.
It's like too much, right? You just
I'm stuck at D10.
okay.
And I had a run with a deck that I made, and then I just got knocked back down, and it's been real frustrating. So I'm really excited about these. Really excited for these balance changes, and I hope you are too. And I hope you all share with me on Discord, discord.me/Mythic Legendaries. Please join us if you're not there now, and let me know what's working for you
Yeah.
with the balance changes, and let's work together.
Put something spicy together.
Yeah, I mean, let's play against each other and test some things out before we take it to the ladder.
Yeah.
And let's have some fun. Episode 45.
Yes.
I'm not gonna pass my turn yet, but I'm gonna shift my attention to you,
Oh, okay.
and I'm going to.
I'm gonna pull up my chair like a cool guy. Like what was his name on Saved by the Bell?
Zach?
Zach? No, the guy who became a host on that talk show, Mario Lopez. What was his name?
Oh
Saved by the Bell. What was
Oh,
his name?
he was a football player.
I don't know. Whatever. I don't know.
Someone please help.
Yeah.
Look it up first.
What was his name? What was his freaking name on Saved by the Bell?
Alright, we gotta look it up. I'm looking it up. Zach. Alright. Saved.
What was Mario?
Saved by the Bell cast. Zach Kelly. Sam. AC Slater.
AC Slater. Oh, thank you. Oh my God. I love that those kind of things when people are listening, when they're going to listen to the podcast, they
Yeah.
don't know the answer and they get frustrated because that happens to me all the time on yeah, dude. Like they'll be talking about something.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. That like minuscule. Yeah. Bo Jerker came through.
You're gonna love the next
Yeah.
segment then.
Okay. All right. So what are we doing here? We're shifting your attention to me.
Yeah. We have trivia for you.
Oh. Okay.
I reached out to friends of the show,
Nice. Awesome.
and some
Awesome.
people gave us some questions right away.
Okay.
If you haven't given us a question yet, feel free to DM us a question.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm gonna say email. If I haven't DM'd you, email us at mythiclegendaries@gmail.com
Okay.
and just put in the subject.
Yeah, because I don't ever check that. It's more your email, so it's
Sorry.
safe. It's safe.
Put Rich don't look in the subject. Rich don't look. And email us fun trivia questions for Rich.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start with Lane the Main.
Main, friend of the show.
Friend of the show. Shout out. Lane the Main is his Twitter. And we're gonna go through questions, an easy and a medium and a hard.
All right.
And then I have one more.
On the spot.
So let's start with the easy one.
Yes.
In Magic,
Yes.
is 0 considered odd or even?
0 is even.
Correct. Correct.
You know what I thought that question was going to be?
Why?
Right off the bat? Is 0 an amount of combat damage? Because way back in the day, there was not a fight, but there was a discrepancy in when somebody attacked for 0 damage,
Uh-huh.
and then your creature does, like when your creature does X damage, like does damage, combat damage,
Yes.
you can do a thing, right? Like you can draw a card or whatever. And somebody was attacking somebody with a 0/2 creature
Okay.
with the ability when it does damage, you draw a card. And the person with that creature was like drawing a card each turn, and the other person was like, I don't think 0 is an amount of damage. And they were like, no, it's 0 damage. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah.
like
'Cause
0,
you guys did a
it's
loophole.
still doing damage, right? But
Okay.
it's doing 0 damage.
What's the answer?
It doesn't do damage. So the trigger wouldn't happen.
Okay.
So 0 isn't considered an actual amount. It has to do 1 or more.
But I understand someone needs to get clarification on that.
Yeah, it is. That is a little kind of like
Because-
it could be interpreted either way.
It could, because if you're playing and you're imagining it, like when I play and you're imagining it, and someone's dealing 0 damage in my imagination, and I
Mhm.
imagine someone's taking a swing,
Mm-hmm.
but they missed,
Mm-hmm.
and so I still react to it.
Right.
Didn't deal any damage.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's. I'm gonna ask you this question.
Okay. So this is the medium, the medium hard one.
Medium hard
It's
one.
the person you most immediately suspect.
Lane the Main says, if I have Kahira as my companion,
Yes.
and a creature is a cat elemental,
Yes.
how much 1/1 will Kahira
Yes.
be adding?
Just one.
1 or 2?
One. Just 1 + 1 + 1 buff.
Correct. Wow. 2 for 2.
Alright, and this is the hard one.
And this is the hard one. I love this easy, medium, hard. Please, if you want to send it something like that.
You know what you do really well?
What?
Make me doubt my answer.
This is the stumper.
Okay.
Okay.
The dumper? Kid, look at that dude's dumper.
If I have an Oko,
Okay, great. Okay, yes,
the band one,
yes.
and I elk your Magus of the Moon, can you tell me what is the name, converted mana cost, creature type, and abilities?
Okay, the only reason I can't answer this question.
You can look up the card if you need to.
Okay, all right, okay, that's good. Because I don't know what that card is. I've seen this question before.
He prefaced that.
Okay,
And if you don't get the answer right, I have photo evidence
okay,
to prove
all right. let me see.
prove what he is saying the answer is
Okay.
as correct.
All right, I'm looking at the card right now. Oh fuck, that's right. So I've seen this.
Should I read the question again?
I've seen this puzzle before, and I didn't pay close attention because I didn't know what Magus of the Moon was. All right. So yes, read it again.
Okay. If you have an Oko, the band one,
Yep. Okay.
and I elk your Magus of the Moon,
Elk. Magus. Okay.
can you tell me what is the name, converted mana cost, creature type, and abilities?
Sure. And abilities.
Yes.
Okay, so, all right, so everything stays a mountain. It becomes a 3/3 green creature.
What's the creature type?
A human wizard elk,
Okay.
or an elk human wizard. It's a 3/3.
It'll be an elk.
An elk.
Yes.
Becomes an elk. Period.
Yes.
It's not a human wizard. Okay, so in my reasoning here, as I'm talking,
Well, I thought you still had it, but no, you got it wrong. You got that part wrong.
So as I'm talking it through, it just becomes an elk.
Should I tell you anything yet?
I'll
let you-
let me talk it through.
I'll let you talk it through. Okay, sorry.
So it becomes an elk. The reasoning I said human wizard is because my ember
Because you're looking at me.
my ember cleave got elked
And I'm
once,
human wizard.
and it was like an ember cleave. It was an artifact that was an elk. So now this is a creature that's an elk. It's 3/3. It's green.
Am I supposed to tell you if it's true?
I mean, yeah. So yeah, let's take each step. So it's a 3/3 creature that's green.
The cost will stay the same.
Casting cost of the Magus of the Moon.
Yes, will stay the same.
3/3 elk. No.
Magus of the Moon. The cost will stay the same.
Okay.
It will be an elk,
Yes.
but it will still have the ability.
Still has the ability. I thought a 3/3. I thought Oko made things lose all abilities.
Magic is like an onion.
Oh, there's layers. I know. That's what I'm trying to talk through.
It has
Yeah.
layers. Because of this tricky layer rule, Magus will still make
It'll still let
it'll
everything be
still make
non-basic
every
numbers.
non-basic a mountain.
Okay. I did have that part right. That's what I said first. I said everything would still stay mountain.
I'm glad Oko's banned layers. Hurt my brain.
Okay.
But-
So it's still a 3 casting cost, 3/3 green.
If you want to look at, I don't even know. You send me a picture explanation. I cannot even understand.
I'll
what
take
it
a look at it later.
means. Okay. So that's what he says.
Interesting. Okay.
So that's a good one.
So it doesn't lose. That's weird that it doesn't lose that ability. So the ability stays.
The name will still be the same. The cost will still stay the same. It will be an elk, but it will still have the ability.
Okay. Interesting. That's an interesting layer.
Cool. Fun question.
Yeah.
And
Thanks, Lane. That's a little brain teaser.
we also have a question that was sent to us. Thank you so much, everyone who sent a question, Lane the Main. And this question comes from MTG Dark Knight.
MTG Dark Knight. Okay. What's up? Friend of the show. Friend of the Twitch.
Okay. So he sent
All right, I'm getting my
Get your stuff ready.
my question tree ready.
Okay. Torment featured 143 black bordered cards,
Mm-hmm.
55 commons, 44 uncommons, and 44 rares.
Mm-hmm.
Its expansion symbol represents a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
To evoke the set's dark themes and dementia summoning,
Mm-hmm.
Torment was notable for its shift from the conventional distribution and equal focus on all the 5 colors
Okay.
of magic.
Yep.
To a particular thematic and mechanical emphasis.
Yes. This is when I was playing Magic too. This was like right before I stopped playing Magic.
Okay, so they tried to make everything equal in this set.
Okay.
Did you play this set at all?
Yeah, this is when I was still playing.
Okay.
Yep.
So my question that I'm going to create out of this information is, despite all their efforts to make it equal
Mm-hmm.
and everything,
Mm-hmm.
what was the most powerful color in that set?
I think black was.
Correct.
Yeah. Thank you.
The general power level of black cards was comparably more powerful than those of other colored cards.
Yeah.
Wow, way to go, Rich.
Thanks.
Way to go.
Thanks.
His favorite card, do you have a favorite card from that set?
I would have to look at I haven't thought of
It's been a
Torment in a long time. But I do remember that Flashback was a mechanic
Okay.
that was in Torment. And Flashback was like, when something's in your graveyard, if it has Flashback, you can play it from your graveyard
for the flashback cost.
for flashback cost, and that was like a super cool mechanic. And speaking of Flashback, they are implementing something in Arena in the historic anthology that's coming out next week that has Flashback. Some of the Flashback cards are coming out, so that'll be fun.
Totally.
Yeah.
His favorite card was Hypnox.
Hypnox.
So thank you everyone who sent in questions. Please keep the questions coming. Send them to mythiclegendaries@gmail.com.
Oh, Chino's Edict and Nantuko Shade. Cabal Coffers. These are all cards.
From that set?
Yeah, let me just take a look real quick. I'm gonna reminisce really quick.
Just-
Nantuko Shade is a 2/1 for 2 black mana, and it has an ability where you can pay 1 black and it gets +1/+1 till end of turn. But you can do that as many times as you want.
Cool.
So you have a 2/1 for 2 that you can just make huge if you're playing mono black. And I think you could still Dark Ritual back then too, because Dark Ritual was in Urza's Saga.
Uh-huh.
So in Standard, I think there was the Urza block and then the Odyssey block were still together. I'm not 100% sure because again, it was so long ago. That was 2002 is when when Torment was out. So
They tried really hard. According to this info, they're saying that they tried real hard to make an equal focus on all the 5 colors, but they just fail on that. They try hard, but they can't. They can't do it. They need to be They need a way to buff and nerf cards. At least once.
They do, but the only way they do it is they just either take it out or restrict it. They take it out completely, or they say you can only have 1 in the deck or whatever. But that'll never happen in Standard.
Do they try something new?
No.
With a set of sleeves.
No.
Make a lot of money on it, and then they'll never do it again.
Yeah.
And then it'll be super rare and worth a lot of money.
Yeah. No, probably not. Well, those are cool trivia questions. Thank you.
You're
Thanks.
welcome. Those are fun.
So Lane the Main and MTG Dark Knight Gaming, 2 of our friends of the show. If you feel like you want to make a new friend, go add them on Twitter or Twitch or any of those things.
And if you think you can stump Rich,
Stump Rich.
good luck. Send us a question or
Stump
two.
me. Stump me.
And maybe in the future we'll have prizes and stuff. If you do stump him, we'll send you like a pack of cards or in a note or something like that. One day we're gonna have T-shirts and stuff. We have really cool logos that would make really cool merch.
Yeah.
And it's not too hard to set up a merch thing.
No.
So one of these days, maybe episode 50, the merch store will launch.
Episode 50 will have our own custom polar seltzers.
Fuck yeah, that would be awesome.
So
So that's all I got for you, Rich.
cool. All right.
And I'll let you know how things work out.
Yes, please do. Keep us updated.
And yep, got some off topic for later.
All right. So Magic this week, as I stated in the beginning, I've been trying to toy with the metagame as far as playing things that aren't the top tier decks, because that's what I enjoy doing. I enjoy playing with different cards. I enjoy trying to make things work because there's so many cards in the game, and there's so many things you can do with cards in the game, and it is a bit boring to just kind of keep playing the same good decks over and over again, because I'm not trying to be a pro, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Not trying to do anything crazy, but I am, trying to, if you get on the ladder, it is always nice to ladder up and kind of prove your expertise in the game. But it's also nice to do that with decks that aren't, aren't in the realm of tier 1. Like all these Yorion decks that are using Agent of Treachery, and then the cycling deck that's just like insanely powerful because if you can't counterspell their one thing, you lose, and it's, those kind of things. So this week, I toyed around with a couple different things. You have to do push-ups.
I do? Oh, Lord.
Okay, so I'll do the push-ups for you. MTG Dark Knight Gaming has redeemed some push-ups, so I will do push-ups and sit-ups. And then, where does one send the email for question? It's
Can there be one? Can you make one that is like make Mox walk the runway?
Yeah, I can do that.
I'll gladly walk the runway. And then one can be Vogue. Make Mox Vogue.
Make Mox Vogue. Okay, I'll do that. You got it.
Or then another one could be make Rich and Mox Vogue against each other.
A Vogue off.
A Vogue off.
Yeah, I'll have to make that one cost a lot. Question was where to send an email. It's mythiclegendaries@gmail.com. It's the name of the podcast at gmail.com. So, as I'm saying, the 2 decks that I came up with this week. One is something that I had taken a gander at via someone, a YouTube streamer, what's his name? Mono Black Magic, who is a YouTube streamer who kind of dabbles in weird decks, like janky, fun, not tier 1 stuff. And he was playing something that was kind of similar to this idea, and I was like, you know what? Maybe let me try my own hand at this, right?
Okay.
So this is an Abzan graveyard deck, and essentially I wanted to make the card Eerie Ultimatum work.
Okay.
And Eerie Ultimatum is one of the ultimatums in the cycle from Ikoria. It costs 2 white, it costs 3 black, and it costs 2 green. So it's 7 casting cost spell.
Got it.
All right. And it says return any number of permanent cards with different names from your graveyard to the battlefield. So in short, if you have 15 cards in your graveyard, no matter what, if they're lands or they're permanents, all permanents, if you have 15 cards in your graveyard and they're all different names, you can return 15 cards to play. Okay? So that's what the ultimatum does.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. It's awesome. So the way I built this deck is pretty much a lot of self-milling, putting your own things in the graveyard, putting things into play that you can sacrifice, or if they go to your graveyard and you get them back, you get extra value from them. So they have value when they come into play the first time. You can use them to do something on the battlefield. Then they go to your graveyard, and then whenever you Eerie Ultimatum and they come back, you get that extra value.
Cool.
So I'm going to read through the cards that are in the deck, and then I'll read through kind of how to play the deck.
Okay.
So from the top, there's 1 Soul Guide Lantern, which is seeing a lot of play right now because a lot of decks are revolving around the graveyard. Now, that's the only downside to the deck, is that a lot of people are prepared for decks that are utilizing the graveyard. So this deck kind of falls in that, like, you have to be prepared for people who are using cards that get rid of stuff from your graveyard.
Mm-hmm. What a cool card. The art is so cool.
Yeah, Soul Guide Lantern is really cool. I had made a metagame call a few months ago, like when this card first came out, I knew it was going to be huge. Like, I just had a feeling that it was going to be like in every sideboard at some point, and I was right. So Soul Guide Lantern, when it comes into play, you get to exile a target card from a person's graveyard. It can be your graveyard or your opponent. Usually it's your opponent's because right now, like I said, people are using the graveyard for everything. You can sacrifice it and then exile an entire graveyard, which is really good against this cycling deck that's going around right now. Basically getting a whole ton of cycling cards in your graveyard and then drawing this card called Zenith Flare, and it does X damage to a target equal to how many cycling cards are in your graveyard. So what your opponent does is just to keep tossing cards into the graveyard, and then they get a Zenith Flare. There's 10 cycling cards in the graveyard. Zenith Flare does 10 damage, and they gain 10 life.
Wow.
So this card is really good against that, and it's really good against a lot of the Lurrus decks that revolve around putting stuff into their graveyard creature-wise and then getting them back.
But you could use this on yourself too, right?
You can use it on yourself.
So if you have a copy of a card, you could just exile it so you don't have a copy, because every card in your graveyard has to be different.
It does, but it does actually. The Eerie Ultimatum doesn't read in the way where you're penalized for duplicates.
Oh.
So it'll if you have duplicates, you can only pick one of them.
Oh, okay.
So it works. But if you needed to, for whatever reason, you can use it on yourself.
Oh, great.
And then if your opponent isn't using their graveyard for stuff, the last ability on there, pay 1, tap it, sacrifice it, draw a card. So you get a draw card.
Cool.
You know, so it's utilized in any way. 1 golden egg, which is a 2 casting cost artifact. When it comes to play, draw a card, and then you can sacrifice it for any color mana, or pay 2 and gain 3 life. So again, there's like 3 abilities on it that are all helpful in some way. When it comes to play, you draw a card. You can sacrifice it for mana if you don't have the right combination of mana, because Eerie Ultimatum is such a mana intensive card. It's 3 black, 2 green, 2 white. So that can help cast it if you don't have the exact mana. And then again, you can gain life. 3 glass caskets, that's the artifact, 1 white and 1 colorless. When it comes into play, you get to exile a creature that costs 3 or less until the glass casket leaves the battlefield. So that's early game removal, because this deck is really late game, so you need stuff in the early game to kind of prevent those aggressive decks. So there's 3 glass caskets, there's 4 Mire Tritons. That's the 1 black, 1 colorless, 2/1 creature that has Death Touch, and when it comes into play, you put the top 2 cards of your library into the graveyard, and then you gain 2 life. So this starts the little cycle of like putting some defense up and putting some stuff in your graveyard. There's 4 Binding of the Titans, which is the saga. That's 1 green, 1 colorless, and it says the first chapter, when it comes into play, you and your opponent put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. Okay, so you both put 3. Then on your second turn, you get to exile up to 2 cards from graveyards. For each creature exiled this way, you gain 1 life. So usually you're going to exile 2 things from your opponent's graveyard. And then the third chapter, you return a target creature or land card from your graveyard to your hand. So anything you happen to have lost out on, you get to grab something back on the third chapter.
Nice.
And so the sequencing here is to usually play a Mire Triton first, then play a Binding of the Titans, and then because the Mire Triton is going to put 2 things in your graveyard, then the Binding of the Titans puts 3 cards in your graveyard, and then the last chapter of Binding of the Titans will get 1 of those 5 cards back from the Mire Triton and the Binding of the Titans. So that's the sequencing you kind of want to do. 2 Plague Crafters. That's the 3 casting cost black card. It's a 3/2, and when it comes into play, each player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker, and each player who can't discards a card. People play Plague Crafter as a removal spell, even if they don't have a creature in play to sacrifice it. It still happens if you play it by itself.
Okay.
So if your opponent has a pesky creature on turn 3, you can play your Plague Crafter, and then the ability goes on the stack. Your opponent has to sacrifice that creature, and then you can sacrifice Plague Crafter to itself.
Okay.
So your opponent gets rid of something. So there's 2 of those. Enter the battlefield effects are what we're looking for. 2 Kaya Orzhov Usurper. She's the planeswalker who gets rid of stuff from your opponent's graveyard.
She's awesome.
She is awesome. The +1, you get rid of 2 things from graveyards. If any creature was exiled this way, you gain 2 life. -1, you get to exile something that costs 1 or less, and then -5, you do damage and gain life equal to the amount of cards in exile of your opponent. She's in their main deck ×2 because, again, there's so much graveyard stuff going on. So she's been doing a lot of work. I've been really putting up, like, holding my own with this deck because of the graveyard synergies, like getting rid of things and being able to eliminate my opponent's early threats. One Oath of Kaya is just when it comes into play, it deals 3 damage to any target, and then whenever an opponent attacks a planeswalker you control, it deals 3 damage to them and you gain 3 life. So it's just another removal spell, but also helpful because there are some planeswalkers in the deck, so if they attack the planeswalker, you still gain life, so you give yourself a little bit more time. One Knight of Autumn, that's the 1 colorless, 1 green, 1 white. When it comes into play, you get to choose one of 3 things. You either put a +1/+1 counter on it, you destroy a target artifact or enchantment, or you gain 4 life, and it's a 2/1 creature. So that's like a little Swiss Army knife.
Wow.
You can choose which thing you need at that moment. So it's one of those. 4 Shatter the Skies, that's the board wipe, 2 colorless, 2 white. Each player who controls a creature with power 4 or greater draws a card and then destroy everything. So those are in there just because, again, early game aggressive stuff.
I gotta stand up.
You guys stand up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep going.
You okay?
Yeah.
All right.
There's just a lot on the ground.
2 Once and Futures. So Once and Future is an instant that gets things back from your graveyard. If you pay 3 green and 1 colorless, which you always want to do, and it's an instant, you can return 2 cards from your graveyard to your hand. Doesn't matter what kind of card they are, you get to return 2 cards to your hand. If you don't pay the Adamant cost, you put 1 card in your hand, 1 on top of your graveyard. But Adamant is the ability from Throne of Eldraine where you have to like devote 3 of 1 color to something to get a better benefit out of it. So if you play 3 green, 1 colorless, you return 2 cards from your graveyard to hand. So those are in there because obviously you're milling yourself, you get rid of cards in the beginning of the game. If you lose out on a card, like you miss, like if an Eerie Ultimatum goes to your graveyard and you're like, oh crap, I need that, those are in there for that.
Wow. This is a complicated deck. This is an expert level deck.
There's a lot going on. Yeah. 1 Vraska Golgari Queen, she's the one who you can sacrifice permanents and draw a card and gain a life. You can destroy something 3 or less. And then the -9 Emblem, which is so sick. If you get the Emblem, whenever a creature deals combat damage to a player, they lose the game. That's like a super super awesome way to win the game. But usually you're not going to win the game that way. But you can. If you get Vraska out early, honestly, and you start plussing her, you just need 3 pluses and then 1 minus. 2, 4, 6. Yeah, you do 3 pluses and then 1 minus to get the emblem and then attack, and you could win if they don't have any blockers, but it's rare. 2 Elspeth Conquers Death. Everybody knows what Elspeth Conquers Death is right now. So 2 of those, you get to get rid of a big permanent. The spells cost more, and then you get something. You can get a creature or planeswalker back with a +1/+1 counter on chapter 3. So again, if all these things in your graveyard, chapter 3 will bring something back. 1 Massacre Girl.
You called that too, as being a good card.
Yes. Sometimes I know what I'm talking about. 1 Massacre Girl, she's sick when she comes into play. Everything gets -1/-1, and then for everything that dies that turn, everything gets -1/-1 again. So that's a board wipe. That's if you're up against like the cycling deck that'll get rid of like all their cards, all their creatures that they play. If you're up against like mono red or mono green, that'll be helpful. 1 Karuga, the Macrosage, that's one of the companions, but I'm playing it main deck. I might switch this out for something else, but when it comes into play, you get to draw cards equal to how many permanents that cost 3 or more. So if you have 3 things out that cost 3, when that comes into play, you get to draw 3 cards.
Oh wow.
So it's like it matters for like big things that you have in play. So and it's a 5/4 creature, so it's like no downside to that. 1 Liliana Dreadhorde General. She's the planeswalker who costs 2 black and 4 colorless. Whenever a creature you control dies, you draw a card. So you +1, you make a 2/2. You -3, everybody has to sacrifice 2 creatures, and then -9, your opponent has to sacrifice all permanents except 1 of each type. So another good -9 usually doesn't happen. 1 Meteor Golem, that's the 3/3 artifact creature that costs 7, and when it comes into play, it destroys a target non-land permanent. So it's some removal. 3 Eerie Ultimatums, so that's your money card.
That's my kind of card, the Meteor Golem.
Meteor Golem?
Yeah, it costs 7, so 3/3. Enters the battlefield, destroy target non-land permanent and opponent controls.
Yep. Yeah.
I'll run 4 of those.
4?
Yeah.
All right. Only cost 7, so you might not want 4. So this deck essentially is kind of giving you a little guidelines on how to play it. Early game is obviously you need to stabilize, playing your lands always making land drops. There's 26 lands in the deck. There's also 1 Scoured Barrens, 1 Jungle Hollow, and 1 Blossoming Sands. Those are the lands that come into play tapped and you gain a life. They're like the dual lands. When they come into play, you gain a life. But those are in there because they are a permanent of a different name. So if they go to your graveyard from whatever source, when you Eerie Ultimate them, they can come back. You can choose them because you can choose any kind of permanent that's in your graveyard. So I'm just adding those in there. So if they go to your graveyard, you Eerie Ultimate, and you end up with more land in play, and you gain a life. So this deck has been a lot of fun for me to play because it's.
Are those expensive?
What's that?
The dual lands?
No, they're commons because they come into play tapped.
Oh, okay.
So if something comes into play tapped, nobody cares. So. So that's deck number 1. I've been having some good luck with it. It's a lot of fun. Of course, deck list will be in the show notes.
What is this?
It's my green screen.
Oh,
yeah.
I asked you that last week. I
Yeah.
should remember that.
So I think a couple people saw me on stream playing it. It's a lot of fun. I took it to a standard event last week, and it's like I did like 4 and 5 and 2, 5 and 3. 3 losses. Yeah, so I did a 5 and 3 last night, which 5 wins versus like people who play real decks is pretty good.
Yeah.
Right? So that's deck number 1. And then deck number 2 is going to be.
I mean, I feel like if you play that deck well,
Yes.
you can't lose.
Yeah, you're right. You can't lose.
That's a great.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and it's resilient because you're getting stuff back. You're like you can wait. You usually if like you can wait for your opponent to react to a lot of the things that you've done in one turn.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not up against like counter spells, right? If you know your opponent's not going to be able to counterspell something in a turn, and you have 7 mana and an Eerie Ultimatum, when you're at turn 7 or 8 or whatever it is, when you get 7 mana to cast one. By that turn, you should have enough crap in your graveyard that if you Eerie Ultimatum one time, you'll win the game either that turn or the next turn. Because your opponent can't catch up with like you returning like 7 permanents to the battlefield. And all of those permanents do something. You know
Those
what I mean?
Planeswalkers, if they stay out,
That's
they
right.
get better.
Planeswalkers will win the game
sagas
as is. The
get
sagas
better.
are good. So you gain life a lot too. So like if anybody's like chipping away at your life total, the sagas and the Mire Tritons and everything, the lands that come into play, you gain a little bit of life back.
Cool.
Kaya makes you gain life, so it's a lot of fun. All right, so number 2.
Number 2,
This is something that I was messing around with yesterday.
Token Truck.
So I called it Token Truck because I misspelled token when I was typing, and I typed Tonka.
Okay.
Hi, George.
We're hearing this conversation.
Yeah, that's my upstairs neighbors. So I misspelled it Tonka.
Yes.
George, shut up.
Sure.
And I corrected it with token because it was supposed to be just tokens.
Yeah.
And then I wrote Tonka, and then I was like, oh, I wrote Tonka truck, and then I wrote token truck. Anyway, so this is just something that was George.
It's red, white. I see red, white, blue, black.
It's green. It's green and white. So those are those statistics you see there are how it does versus those colors.
Oh, okay.
All right. So this is basically just a whole bunch of tokens that get really big really fast, and I've been winning on like turn 4, turn 5 with it because you have a bunch of buff spells and a bunch of creatures that come into play, and your opponent can't deal with like 10 4/4s with lifelink attacking. So this is how the deck goes.
10 4/4 with lifelink?
Yeah.
Yeah. That might be a problem.
I attacked earlier today with 13 4/4 lifelinkers on like turn 6. It was awesome.
Dude,
Okay.
I love it.
So,
That is my kind of deck.
there's 4 Arboreal Grazers, which is the 1 green 0/3 creature. When it comes to play, you get to play an additional land from your hand tapped, so you get a little bit of a mana ramp there if it's on turn 1. 3 Raise the Alarms. That's the instant that makes 2 1/1 white soldier creature
It's
tokens.
been around forever.
Raise the Alarm. Yeah. 4 Woodland Champion. So this is the kind of what the deck revolved around in the beginning, and I've kind of tinkered with it. It's a 2/2 for 2 mana, 1 green, 1 colorless, and it says when 1 or more tokens enter the battlefield under your control, put that many +1/+1 counters on him. So basically, if it's in play and then you play a Raise the Alarm, it gets +2/+2. It gets 2 counters on it because you're putting 2 tokens into play. So you'll see how this goes.
That's cool.
2 Vanishing Lights, which is just the enchantment for some early game control against pesky like creatures or enchantments or whatever. It's just it's a little bit of board control. 3 Lovestruck Beasts, so that's the one that has the adventure to make a 1/1 for 1 green mana, a 1/1 token, and then it's a 5/5 and can't attack unless you have a 1/1. Speaking of earlier, Kahira, the Orphan Guard, that's one of the companions that I'm not running as a companion because I'm running different creature types in the deck itself, but it's in the deck.
Okay.
Kahira is a 3/2, and it's vigilance, and each other creature that you control that's a cat, elemental, nightmare, dinosaur, or beast gets +1/+1 and has vigilance.
What?
So Kahira is a pretty sick companion.
Totally.
But I've got to run her main deck because my deck doesn't satisfy her companion clause. But she's in there, and you'll see why. 3 March of the Multitudes. This card hasn't really been played much, but I love it. It's the 2 white, 1 green, and then X. Create X 1/1 white soldier creature tokens with lifelink, and it's an instant, and you can convoke it. Convoke, for those who don't remember, is you can use creatures as mana to cast that spell. So, for an example, if you have 3 green tokens and 3 white creature tokens, right? So you have 6.
Yeah.
You can tap them to add mana to cast that spell.
Create more tokens.
So if you have 2
Oh my
planes
God.
and a forest out and then 12 tokens, you can make 12 tokens because you can use them for mana. And it's an instant, so you can cast it at the end of your opponent's turn.
Our forces number more than the leaves of Vitsugadzu. Do not provoke us.
You love
I had to get one in. Had to get one in.
4 Cub Wardens, so that's a new creature from Ikoria. It's costs 3 colorless and a white. It's a cat. Its mutate cost is 2 colorless and 2 white. It's got lifelink, and then whenever it mutates, it creates 2 1/1 white cat creature tokens with lifelink. Okay?
Okay.
4 Migratory Greathorns. That's another Ikoria card, 3 colorless and a green for a 3/4 creature with mutate. The mutate cost is 3, 2 colors and a green. Whenever it mutates, you get to search your library for a land card, put it into play tap. Basic land card, put it into play tap. So that gives you some ramp, so you can get lands out. You can mutate some mutate targets. So if you want to mutate a Cub Warden onto it, you get 2 triggers, so you get 2 cats. You get to grab a land, and then you have a 3/5 creature with lifelink. Pretty good synergy there.
Wow.
1 Ajani the Greathearted, that's the Planeswalker for 2 colors, the green and the white. Says creatures you control have vigilance. +1, you get to gain 3 life. -2, put a +1/+1 counter on every creature you control and a loyalty counter on each Planeswalker you control.
What?
So if you have a board full of like 1/1 tokens, you just -2 Ajani and then they become 2/2 tokens, okay? 2 Return to the Wild Speaker. So I love this card very much. I've mentioned it in a couple streams. I love this card so much. I think it's underplayed only because its casting cost is a bit high. So I think it's like one mana too high to be considered great. It's an instant that costs 4 colorless and 1 green, and you get to choose one of these 2 things. First one is you draw cards equal to the greatest power among non-human creatures you control.
Okay.
So that means if you have a beast creature in play that has 6 power, you get to draw 6 cards. Okay, right?
Okay.
All right, for 5 mana, draw 6 cards. Sure.
Sounds good.
And then the second clause is non-human creatures you control get +3/+3 until end of turn.
Wow.
So if you have a field
That's
full of
explosive.
soldiers and cats and beasts that are attacking, pay 5 mana, everybody gets +3/+3, and that's what happens. So that's how I had 13 4/4s, 4/4 cats with lifelink attacking, because I was mutating the Cub Warden a bunch, and then March of the Multitudes, and then March of the Multitudes makes soldier tokens, not humans tokens, so those count towards the Return of the Wild Speaker buff, and then attack with 13 1/1 lifelinks, 4/4 lifelinks.
This deck seems really fun.
2 Vivian, Monsters Advocate, so that's the new Vivian from the new set. You may play, and you can look at the top card of your library at any time, and then if it's a creature, you can cast that. So you can cast an extra creature each turn if it's a creature on top of your library. The +1, you put a 3/3 Beast token into play. The -2 is if you play a creature, you can search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost 1 less and put it into play. So if you play a 4 casting cost thing and use her -2, you can go find something that costs 3 and put it into play. But putting the Beast tokens into play is what you want to be at.
Okay.
And then 2 Camaraderie, that's another card that I always want to make happen, and I finally have in this deck. It's highly costed, but with the ramp that you get in this deck, I think it's actually working well. 4 colors, a green and a white, it's a sorcery, and it says you gain X life and draw X cards, where X is the number of creatures you control, period. Then, creatures you control get +1/+1 till end of turn.
I can imagine you playing this in real life, and you finally get to play that.
Yeah.
So you're like explaining it to your opponent. So I'm gonna draw these cards.
So, have you seen this card?
And do you know this card?
Have you seen this card? So everything gets a buff for the turn. You draw, if you have 10 creatures, you've already drawn 10 cards.
Good game.
10 life.
Good game.
Good game. So 2 Camaraderies, and then you have your lands. You got 2 Castle Ardenvales, a couple Temple Gardens, a couple Temple of Plenties. It's just tokens. It absolutely gets crushed by anything running board wipes, obviously, but it does come back pretty hard the next turn, because you do have a lot of stuff that keeps making tokens and making creatures and just kind of flooding the board. But I've won on turn 4 and turn 5 a couple times, just because you swing with like 5 1/1s.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, I won't block. And then you have Return of the Wild Speaker and make everything +3/+3. And then they're like, okay, I lose. So there's tricks, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like somebody will swing to get you down really low. Like a guy swung, tapped out. I went down to 1, and I only had this is the example. I only had like 5 power on board, and they were at 15.
Okay.
So they swung, tapped out, got me to 1. And they assumed that I only had 5 power on board, and I swung for 5 and then did my buff. 5 guys, +3/+3, and then I did 15 to them.
Nice.
So that was pretty sick.
Are you playing with this deck in events or online?
This one, because I just revamped it, I've only been playing it in the play queue, just to test it out, to see what I need.
Okay.
I'm going to probably play it in some standard events, and then I'll play it on the ladder maybe once or twice. I don't think the state of the ladder is good for this deck. It's too fun.
The state of the ladder is not good for any deck except for
the tier 1 decks.
The guy with the mask on.
Yeah, Agent of Treachery.
Agent of Treachery.
Agent of Treachery. So this
would this deck beat the other deck we went over? Do you think? Because it's so fast.
It's too fast. Yeah, it's too fast. Yeah, so the graveyard deck would have trouble keeping up, but the graveyard deck has board wipes. So if you're building your deck up by turn 4, hopefully you have a board wipe and you can clear the board. So be a cool match. I should share this with somebody. We should have a matchup with it. But those are my 2 decks that are fun and I think are a bit competitive, and competitive enough to play against someone. So somebody out there is going to get this deck list, and I'll play a couple challenges with you. On the topic of playing with people, I want to shout out Lane and the crew at Goblin Traders game store in Ohio. Last night they invited me to play their online Friday Night Magic Standard tournament. So they're doing on Arena, they're doing like you would in person, like a Friday Night Magic Standard.
Yeah.
But they do it via Discord and Arena. So that was a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Pay $10. There's 2 tournaments because it happened so fast. Like we were done with the first one in like 20 minutes, which was wild. In real life, you're like waiting around for things to happen. It's 45 minutes, but we were done with the first entire tournament in like 20 minutes. But it was there's like 3 rounds for the first one.
Well, because no one's drunk. Are people drunk?
People could be drunk. I mean, they're at home, so they could be. So there's 3 rounds for the first one. I played 5-color Niv Mizzet Fires and absolutely blew it. I conceded almost all my games because I was land screwed. I couldn't get anything going. That deck was really successful for me before, and then I hadn't played it in a while. I did a couple tweaks to it, nothing that should have really made the deck worse. I played it and it was just awful. Like, I was land screwed and then I drew 4 Teferis one game. Like, it was like the weirdest combination of cards, so that sucked. Then we played our round 2, like the second tournament. I played Simic Mutate. I won 1 match and then I lost 2, and I lost the other 2 because, again, I was drawing all of my big things, like all of my big, like, 1-ofs. I have like 1 7/7 that costs 8. I have 1 Agent of Treachery. I have 1 6/6, and all of them came in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then I have to mulligan down to 5, and then when you get, it just kind of feels bad. One thing I want to mention, though, in the topic of playing games with sideboards,
Okay.
if you're using Companion, which takes up a sideboard slot, okay? I did this 2 times last night, and it got me really pissed off because Companions are a new mechanic. They've just been out for a couple weeks now, or maybe in a month, because Corey's been here for a while. Anyway, they take up a sideboard slot and they say something about your deck. Like, your deck needs XYZ to fulfill this requirement to have us as a companion.
Okay.
I was using Umori as a companion in my Mutate deck, and Umori says all of the things in your deck have to share the same type. So everything in your deck needs to be a creature in order to use Umori as your companion.
Yeah.
And then Umori's ability is that things of that type are 1 colorless less to cast.
Okay.
So that's the payoff. So when I went to game 2 and wanted a sideboard, in my sideboard I had instants and sorceries, which are not creatures, right? So Umori says everything has to be the same.
Yeah.
So I put in instants and sorceries, but I forgot to take Umori out of the companion slot. And then at the end, when I approved like my sideboarding, I saw everything kind of like flicker, like everything like moved, and then it went into like the screen, like waiting for my opponent. And then when I started the next game, none of the sideboard changes went into effect because Umori was still in the companion slot.
Oh, they don't allow you to make the mistake?
They don't allow you to, they don't allow you to change it again. Like, you can't go, like, once you hit done, it's done. And if you make the mistake and you don't take your companion out of the slot, they won't warn you. They'll just put it back and put it back to the original way, which is something that I think they 100% need to do, and just say, you know, you're changing your deck from your companion, your companion requirements. Do you want to change it? Or like put a little warning.
Yeah.
Like implement something that reminds the player that if they're gonna make sideboard changes, and especially like think of it, like I was in a tournament. I mean, it's a fun tournament, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't care that I won or lost. It was a lot of fun. But if you're in a bigger tournament and you're kind of new still to the game, or you're using a deck with a companion that you haven't really had a lot of experience with, and you forget you need to move the companion out, and you sideboard in a really important game with really important cards against the opponent, and then it resets it, that's kind of a little bit of a feel bad moment. So
where's the coders?
Where are they?
Coders in on
Come
it.
on, coders.
It's not hard.
So
we're gonna get that in the next patch.
that was a bummer, like, because I had a whole bunch of like sideboard cards versus this deck, and I could have won if I had any of those sideboard cards, but it didn't. So everything sucked there. Anyway, that's just a little thing.
Is right on.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
it's blaring.
Dying.
It's blaring. So that's it for the Magic section. I just wanted to shout out everybody who was in that tournament last night. Thank you for having me. Goblin Traders in Ohio, super awesome that you're keeping that going. Destroy Target Permanent Podcast, all the folks over there for being so awesome and collaborative, and everybody who's hung out with us on Twitch and all that stuff. So
definitely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I'm going to pass my turn back to you.
Okay.
Do you want to stand up?
Sure.
Here, I'll get it.
Thank you. There's a resource a community resource available to everybody. It's a little off topic to talk about for y'all. Oh, just kidding. It's called, I don't know if you ever heard of it, Craigslist Missed Connections.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah, Craigslist Missed Connections. It's a nice place to go, like, I don't know, wait, can you think of anything? Just missed connection, like you're at the bakery and you forgot your gloves at the bakery, so you get on Craigslist, you write a post on missed connections.
Yeah.
Forgot my glove at
forgot my
7 stars.
Forgot my glove at D. Palmieri's bakery. Get my cannolis.
Yeah, if you see it, just hit me up.
Yes.
Or
yes.
I don't know, maybe on the train.
Yeah.
You're on the way to work.
Yep.
And you happen to look up across the train.
Mm-hmm.
Is a beautiful human being.
Yep.
And,
You lock eyes. Yep.
You lock eyes.
Okay.
No words are said,
Okay.
but you guys are looking at each other.
Mhm.
And so maybe you get on misconnections and you're like, hey, 8 a.m. commute, red line,
Mhm.
going to South Station, saw you, and you were wearing the penny loafers.
Because I
And,
noticed your shoes.
You had the green sweater and penny loafers, and hit me up. I don't know if you remember me, but I had the button down and
And the hair. I had the hair.
I had my hair to the right that day, so to the left.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to let y'all know and maybe just read a few of the misconnections.
Sure.
See what you think. I've not read these.
Okay.
I don't even know, but this is from West Warwick, Rhode Island.
I can imagine it's gonna be awesome.
I honestly have no idea what it's going to say. Relationship with a twist. This is misconnections. 49-year-old single male looking for an honest, trustworthy female. What the hell? Long-term relationship. But I want that same person to also have a wild side and would enjoy her and I being a swinger couple.
Wait, this is not a misconnection. This is a like seeking arrangements.
No, this is misconnections. And have fun with the other couples and singles a few times a month. This is not an open relationship. We would only do this as a couple.
This is not a misconnection. This is a sex ad.
Rich, this is in misconnections. If you're interested, send me a message telling me about yourself. And if you don't agree with this, then please don't be a jerk and flag my ad.
Yeah, don't be a flag.
You wouldn't want someone doing that to you.
No.
It's a free country, and we all are entitled to making our own opinions and views in misconnections posts. Dude, what happened to this website?
It's not a misconnection. I think so. What I think Craigslist has become is like the YouTube comment section of whatever Craigslist is, because YouTube comments are just trash, and that's what I think Craigslist has become.
It's still a good place to sell stuff. Yesterday, I sold a 2-year-old used bed, mattress, for $500.
Good lord.
Yeah, man. I got a knack for this shit. Okay.
Okay.
Rhode Island Craigslist.
Wait, so can I just clarify? That wasn't a misconnection, but it's in the misconnection section?
Yeah, let's try another one.
Okay.
This can't be real life.
No.
Well, I mean, because this is a valuable resource for the community.
Yes, it is.
May 16th. This is entitled "Attractive Fit Daddy Dom Missing Long-Term Female Sub / Switch."
What the fuck?
Cranston. Fit, attractive, self-employed, and working from home. Minimal human contact. Very fun, kinky, and passionate. DDF and tested 8/7/19 with results, and I will retest soon.
Wait.
Wait. Okay.
Can I slow this down?
He's tested.
Can I slow this
This
down?
means
I need to slow this down.
okay. I don't know what this shit means.
You're reading missed connections.
Yeah.
So people have, because I know they removed like the sex ads from Craigslist, right? There was like they did that. That was a thing that they removed that.
They removed all of the singles, the
relationships,
all of the seeking this and seeking that. Yeah.
Okay, so
misconnections is all they have left.
So misconnections is now officially like that stuff, it's just moved over.
It's just mislabeled, I guess.
It's just mislabeled. So they're calling misconnections like "come over and do me." Is that the "come over and do me" section?
This is the come over and do me section. Like,
Okay.
I don't know what's wrong with these people. We have apps for that now, okay? It's plenty, there's total cock buffets everywhere, okay? We don't need to post publicly on fucking misconnections. Yeah,
I have never heard the term. I don't even want to say it again. I don't want to say it again because we are a PG rated podcast.
We are? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay, he ends it with kick/snap for communication and real-time photo exchange required. My kick ID is discreet Dom 83. Dude, I am gonna pass out. I have to cut it there because I am so hot.
Okay, it's fine. I'm hot too. It's hot in here.
Okay, one more.
One more, because this is really funny.
All right, I'll let you pick out of these three. These are the titles of the
Wait,
misconnection.
hold on. Let me read this real quick because Bojurka said that misconnections are like, you had a blue shirt on, you breathed near me, and I'm a guy, so I immediately want to think you want to bang me.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, I'll let you choose between pleasure, fisting, and bored MFM fun. An experienced woodworker here.
Can you say that one more time?
Okay, there's four misconnection posts.
Mm-hmm.
First one is pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
Second one is fisting. Third one is bored MFM fun. And 5 is experienced woodworker here.
Is like woodwork, like quote woodworker?
I don't know. I haven't clicked on it yet. Is that the one?
Can you click that one? Yeah. Okay. It's gonna be like a 75-year-old man who like accidentally posted like he's
This
like
shit.
actually like a
Oh my
he's
god.
like-
Okay, this is
Okay.
what it reads.
Okay.
Experienced woodworker here. Looking for a big project to complete.
This is all innuendo. I know it.
My specialty is working with younger types of wood.
This is amazing. This is amazing. Oh my god, keep going.
That's it.
Is that all it says?
Snapchat is nanoskirt. With that, please come back for episode 46 of Mythic Legendaries podcast.
Yes, we all appreciate everybody being here. We will talk to you next episode. Follow us on Twitter at Mythic Legendaries. Our Discord link is in the pinned tweet. Our YouTubes, our Twitches, all that stuff is there. Good luck playing your games. Deck lists will be in the show notes. Let us know if you have any additional comments or anything for our coverage of stuff this week. Everybody have fun with their Ikoria in-person pre-releases, because that's going to be a lot of fun. Well, not in-person, but physical cards are out. Thanks, everybody.
Oh my god,
wait.
everyone in Twitch must have seen the sun on me that whole time. I love you guys. Thank you for
Biohazard
listening.
Dubstep. We'll get to your question next time.
Absolutely. Anyone who sends in a question. And we're going to also, anyone who leaves a review from last week and this week, anyone who leaves a review on Apple Podcasts and leaves us 5 stars and leaves us a review, we will read it on the show next week.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. You have a great day.
Thank
and
you so
weekend.
much.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so we have some, yeah, we have some stuff to pay. We have to dab. Do we
Oh,
have to-
I ended it already.
Oh, you ended the
I did
thing?
because you were hot, so
Okay.
I ended it. Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, and I'm like actually like my head is sweating, so I was happy to end it. We do it next. We'll sort it down.
We'll do it next time.
You need a dab and I need sit-ups. Dab and sit-ups. All right. Yeah, no, I was like
Good
so
job.
hot. Hi, you were barking. George, you were barking.
Other cat is out cold the whole show. So I worked all last week, this past week, and
How was that?
a whole new world of customer issues, interpersonal issues with each other. Like, this person not wearing their mask, and the seatbelt sign's on, and they're up out of their seat, and they're not keeping 6 feet distance, and that's against the law.
Yep.
And I'm calling a complaint, and oh my god, dude, it's crazy. Because it's not against the law, it's just a recommendation.
Right.
If you know. We're doing more than the other airlines, though, I'll say that. Because other airlines are selling every seat, even the middle seat, but we've restricted it so you can't buy the middle seat. So you at least have the middle seat in between you. And we've lost a lot of money doing that.
I bet, yeah.
We're doing that for safety, so we're doing more than the other guys.
I'm amazed that people are still flying. I mean, I guess people have to, but it's blowing my mind that that's still like happening regularly.
Yeah, and it is already, like, as soon as they started opening up, like, the demand is there already.
Wow.
The flights are sold out.
Well, I guess it's good though, right? For some people.
Experienced woodworker here.
I was hoping it was like just like somebody who didn't know how to use Craigslist and like was actually posting an ad for like like grandpa's business. All right, so file,
I bought a sweater shaver,
save.
and I was figuring out how to use it, and it's awesome.
The one that does. Oh, do you need to stop that?